Welcome back. We are out here at the Senior Bowl. It's a beautiful thing. Boys are all warming up now. I see. I don't know what they're gonna. You know what I think? I think they're gonna take like pictures of the offense and then pictures of the defense. That's what it seems like because they've only got a couple benches out. So I don't know what they're going to do out here. But anyway, we are out here covering it, and we're hoping. We're hoping. You send any? Can you send a message to see if we can get an interview in here? I mean, we got to get some interviews, man. We need to talk to some peoples, man. We got a bunch of segments already up from this morning, as Bill is already working tirelessly to get you guys up and going. Did you guys see the Jim Edmonds story? This is a funky story. I don't know if you have run into this story. Jim Edmonds is getting a very public divorce. That's the part about being famous. There, a lot of people, you look at it and you say, well, this is, a positive, being famous and being rich and all that, right? And of course, it's great to have money and to be able to take care of your family and have the best of anything, to be able to provide for your kids. That's one of the positives of it. There's no doubt about it. Now, there are negatives to being in the public eye. And when things happen to the normal person, you have a disagreement with your wife or your, girlfriend or your kids or whatever, it kind of goes under the radar, right? Maybe you get audited by the IRS, or you have a car accident, or whatever it is. Nobody really finds out about it, right? But if you're in the public eye, they're going to find out about all kinds of things that you're involved in. And Jim Edmonds is obviously a guy that played baseball for a long time. I think a lot for the Cardinals and the Angels, if I remember correctly. He might have played for another team or two. I forgot at this point. But Edmonds was one of those guys you admired the way he played the game. He's the guy that would run into walls trying to catch a fly ball. He played at 1,000 miles an hour. Was a hell of a player. Okay, not a guy that's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame, but a hell of a player.
Really good fantasy player, man.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, and here's a guy that is now having a very public divorce with his wife, Megan. Her name is Megan King, was Edmonds. And so there's an article that I was reading. It turns out that Megan and Jim are now getting a divorce, and Megan has accused Jim of having an affair with the children's nanny. This seems to happen a lot, right? That the husband ends up banging the nanny. I just have one thing for you guys out there, or for you ladies out there. Don't hire a hot nanny. I mean, that would be the first thing that I would do. Look, I don't want to cheat on my wife, but I don't want a hot nanny hanging around the house the entire time. That's kind of, that's tempting as it is. Not that the hot nanny in my case would be interested in me because I don't have any money.
So hire Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even afford a nanny. You know what I'm saying? So that wouldn't be a case for me. But I never understand these people that you do have the money for a nanny. Why are you hiring a hot nanny? That I don't understand. But anyway, for some reason, okay, it's gotten public now. And it says, Jim Edmonds told Us Weekly about their tendency to have threesomes. So now he's openly talking about he and his wife in a threesome. As far as threesomes go, there were more than a few initiated by Megan, and only Megan, Jim told Us Weekly on Monday. Megan then, I went along with things because I thought that's what he wanted. I wanted to feel as comfortable as possible. We only had one threesome, and only once during our marriage, and that was with his current girlfriend. Well, you know how far your relationship has fallen, that you turn to your wife and say, yeah, we need to have a threesome with the nanny. And if you're the wife and you're having a threesome with the nanny, you got to know already at this point, you're not trying to make him feel comfortable. You're trying to just stay in the game because he's clearly moved on from you and he's got the nanny. But he'll have sex with you as long as it's with the nanny in the mix, because it's the nanny that's really getting him going while he's having sex with you. Weird, isn't it? Now, the story goes on to say there are two parts of this quote that are pretty crazy. One, that Jim Edmonds would lie publicly and who initiated the threesomes. Two, that Jim's current girlfriend was allegedly the third person in the threesome with Jim and Megan while they were still married. I mean, it's just, all of this is weird to me. One, that you would openly talk about your wife this way, that you would openly talk about threesomes. Anyway, she continued, she says, I think his attempt to sex shame me illustrates the vile mind of this man. And then it says, it's sick to break me down like this while I'm with all of our kids every day and night, and he's on day 5 of, messing around Cabo with a former friend who's now going on shopping sprees with his new F buddy. Right? This is the mother of your children. You're sex shaming her. You're getting her into threesomes, and now you're talking about it publicly. Now, that's the part that's kind of twisted. It's tough enough to be famous because all of your dirty laundry becomes public. Like I told you earlier, you and I live a life that, our things happen. It kind of happens behind the scenes. And most of you never find out about any of this. You're a person in the public eye. We're going to find out about all of this. But now you're also willing to come forward with even more details. More quotes from her. Megan says she welcomed the idea of having threesomes during the first year of marriage because she knew that Jim had a bad boy past and she wanted to have fun. I got to tell you something. It's pretty insulting if a guy is bringing up a threesome in any way, shape, or form to the wife, right? But, okay, I don't condone it either way. But if the guy brings up a threesome 10, 15, 20 years into your relationship, then, maybe things have gotten boring. She doesn't do much. He doesn't do much, whatever it is. And they're looking to, spicing it up a little bit or whatever, whether it's right or wrong or whatever. Not that I condone it, but I kind of understand those kind of people that fall into that rut. I got to tell you something for Megan. Just a message to her. If your husband's doing it in the first year of marriage, wow. That dude got bored with you quickly. I'm just saying. If you were thinking about the bad boy thing and you wanted to keep him happy or all of that, I just want to tell Megan that I think your thinking was way off there. Since I'm a guy, last time I checked, and guys do guy things, if you're asking your wife for a threesome inside that first year, wow, you are severely disappointed with your sex life with her. Okay? 10, 15, 20 years down the line, again, not right to do it.
Are you just trying to say she doesn't have game?
Obviously, something. Or he doesn't really love her that much anymore. He really doesn't care about her. It's one of the two. He's bored with her one way or the other. But it's weird. In your first year, you're supposed to be having honeymoon sex, bro. You're like supposed to be having sex like on top of the microwave while it's on. You know what I mean? And that the first year, you're supposed to be going crazy having sex all over the place. Years 10 and 20, I kind of get it already at that point. I understand. Anybody that's been married for a long time, But wow, year 1? I was right, by the way. Pictures. There you go. Offense, defense. So far they got one group there. Are they going to mix both groups? Let's see. Looks like it. So they're going for team pictures. How about that? Wednesday is team picture day here at the Senior Bowl. So they can take a little pic and remember right on the logo too. Oh, I like it. They got the ladder and everything, so the camera guy can look down and get the logo too. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And they are doing. Well, no, are they going to sprinkle the other guys in? Yeah, on defense. Looks like it. There you go. Senior Bowl pictures. There you go. All right, what do we have here? Big O, are you guys trying to get Herbert on? Yes, we are. We are trying to get Herbert on. We're trying to get all the quarterbacks on, just like we did last week at the East-West Shrine. We are doing our best. Remember, it's out of our control. We can request and all of that, but it's up to the player and then the personnel people to kind of make this happen. Big O, you're ahead of other sports shows. Good work. Next football season will be amazing. Well, we will try to be ahead of other sports shows. Let's see. John Rouse says, would you give up all 3 first-round picks for Burrow? I'm not getting into that stupid-ass conversation. Let's see. What else do we have? Absolutely. It's a BS story. They're taking the team that has 14 draft picks and a need for a young QB and linking him to Burrow. Greer will use his 14 picks properly to fill out the roster. I'm with you there. Flipside Fishing's asking if you've interviewed Justin Herbert yet, and if not, do you plan on interviewing him? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we plan on interviewing everybody. I know Tua's here, but he's not going to be. I doubt we'll be able to get Tua. It would be nice to get Tua. That would be a lot of fun to get Tua, but I don't think we'll get it. Hey, look, here you go. Here's the team picture. There you go. The Senior Bowl team picture. Look, you guys are getting it.
For the East team.
No, it's the South team. You got the wrong
sorry,
game.
For the South, yeah.
That was
last week, right?
Last week was East and West. This is North and South, and there you go.
This is the South team. Yeah.
Cheese! There you go. It's a little different than when I was in high school and we took our senior picture. We were all, instead of saying cheese, we were singing Libertad from the line of Scarface because it was a big moment then. So we were just like screaming Libertad. That was the thing I remember for the senior picture. That was we were all laughing our asses off because we were doing a little Libertad. There you go. Now I see on the camera here, you guys are getting the shot of the players taking the team picture. The South squad getting ready for the team pictures. Although, man, they're still 40 minutes away from starting practice. These guys are out here early today, man. Like really early to start practice. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering if they're going to start a little earlier because they're afraid of the clouds and the rain that could be, even though it starts tonight, just to protect themselves, to make sure. I wonder. You know? You never know. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. 1105. If you want to get in on the show, the other way to reach out to us is on Twitter, and that is at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that is always a 24-hour talk show on Twitter. Heat back in action tonight, taking on the Wizards. 7:30 tip. Miami 19-1 at home. Hopefully they will make it 20-1. I was reading this story about the Heat and CP3, and I got to tell you, the CP3 thing, I'm so glad that he has this attitude of not wanting to give up that final year of his contract at $44 million. And because he is not willing to opt out of that deal, I think it was Barry Jackson in the Herald that wrote it, that the Heat were interested, but they didn't want that final year, and they wanted him to waive it, and then they would wink, wink, take care of him over, a couple of extra years, and he'd get his money, but not all in one shot. So he could kind of age, with the Heat over the final year and whatever, the $44 million, maybe they give it to him in 2 years, 22 each or something like that. And so far it's been a good addition for OKC because those young guys needed a veteran to kind of give them that leadership. And for me, personally, I get the love affair that the Heat organization and Pat Riley would have for Chris Paul because he is a leader, and he's a guy that is not going to take any crap from people and is going to want people working hard and all of that, but he's unreliable. That's my real problem with CP3, is that he's a guy that cannot be trusted. And not because of anything bad, it's because his body constantly breaks down. And I saw that there were all these stories about him possibly coming to Miami being interested, and I was fearful of it over the last year when those rumors would show up because of the injury history. And now he is kind of stuck there in what's it called, in Oklahoma City, and will not be traded out of there because nobody's going to pick up $44 million because he's not worth $44 million. You want his leadership in the locker room. You want him running your team also because he's a really good point guard. But I think the issue here with this team, or with these players, with the Heat and this player, was the money. But I will say this. He is a Heat-type player. Just like Jimmy Butler is. The problem is, look at Jimmy now. One of the things that I fear with Jimmy is that this is a guy that's going to break down as this contract goes on because he's had so much wear and tear. He's already missed 6 games in the first half of the season. And I don't know how many more he'll miss. I don't know if he'll miss tonight. He's listed as probable with that sore hip. But these are things that you have to worry about. And it's almost like, because the Heat would have, remember, they want to open up that cap space in 2021. So they would want to acquire him and not have the burden of that final option. He wasn't willing to waive that. That ended up becoming a blessing in disguise, I got to tell you. Because now you don't have CP3 on this team this year. If you would, how much would that have hurt the development of other guys? Kendrick Nunn. He would have been a lot less on the court with CP3 out there. And you weren't going to play him over CP3 because you don't acquire CP3 to then bench him. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff you start to think about, it becomes a blessing in disguise that the Heat themselves didn't see at that moment, because it's hard because nobody expects Kendrick Nunn to be that guy. So when you're thinking at that moment, you're not expecting Duncan to be that guy. You're not expecting Kendrick Nunn to be that guy. You don't even know yet at that moment in the offseason, is Bam going to take that next step? All of these different things that developed. Tyler Hero, you liked him because obviously you drafted him, but you can't put those kind of expectations on him thinking that he's going to become that guy. And so far, he's become one hell of a shooter for you. It's interesting how that CP3 story affected the Heat in so many ways, and all of them positive. But if you end up signing CP3, it might have ended up becoming a negative on the court with the player and that option, and then the lack of movement that you have because you acquired that contract, and then also you didn't get to develop certain other players. That would it almost reminds you of why Flores was smart to go with Fitz and not go back to Rosen, because now you got to develop the rest of the roster, and certain guys that really excelled under Fitz wouldn't have excelled under Rosen. And it's the same thing here. certain guys would not have had the stage they needed in order to succeed and really move to the next step. And Chris Paul would have kept you back. And if he wasn't waiving that clause, man, he would have set you really back in 2021. You had no shot at moving because that $44 million would have chewed up the whole cap. It's weird how that story ends up working out as a benefit. And I know Chris Paul, why he doesn't want him, he gets that $44 million. And then when he's done, somebody else will pay him that money that the Heat was going to pay him and break it down. Somebody then follows up with 15 or 20 million the following year. How weird is that? So he knows that, his agent knows that. So why give up the 44 when he can make more money the following year after that? Not 44, but he'll make another 15 or 20 and pocket that. You know who's going to have that option? Probably Ryan Tannehill. Because Ryan will be able to get a contract from Tennessee. And they could also tag him if they don't have a quarterback just to keep him around for a year. So he ends up benefiting from making that kind of deal. I don't know if the team will, unless they want to buy into it one more time so they can get exposed one more time when the playoffs roll around. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program as we take you, of course, till, I don't know, about 2 o'clock, something like that. And then we'll have Michelle Kaufman on. She is going to join us. Practice has already started here for the South team. They took their pictures. They came in early. The schedule was set for 1 o'clock. But I think because of the maybe the rain that's coming in tonight and going into tomorrow, maybe they're afraid that it might move in sooner than that, and they don't want it affecting the afternoon practice. Interesting. And you know what will be interesting will be tomorrow. Because tomorrow you are going to have bad weather, and that's going to affect attendance, NFL people, and also it's going to affect practice because they will not be able to do some of the same things that they normally do in practice. That might be a setback for them. That's why these practices today are going to be very, very important because tomorrow all of a sudden the weather becomes a factor, and then that hurts you doing one-on-ones. That hurts you doing so many different things that you get evaluated from the NFL people. And they won't have that stage tomorrow because of the rain. Supposedly it's coming in tonight. But having practice a little earlier than normal today, that tells me that they must think something's up. And they must be afraid that this thing might move in a little earlier than normal, or they don't want to take the chance that just in case it does, since weather is so unpredictable, they want to get these practices in. So we'll see what Jordan Love and the boys are doing, and we'll see practice here for the South and for the North teams over the next couple of hours here on the program. Remember, if you want to get in, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the show, that is how you can reach us when you're downloading and listening to the show at any time. Right now on the program, whenever we're live. Also, you want to use the accidentlawfirm.com text line. We are giving away a pair of passes or a couple pairs of passes to go to Rockville, okay, in Daytona, May 8th, 9th, and 10th. And the lineup is absolutely sick. Metallica, by the way, is closing 2 of the nights with 2 different sets. If you want a shot at winning those passes, you got to send me a text on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. But make sure you put your full name, your email address, and your cell phone so we can contact you. Okay? And that way, if you do win, and we will give away the tickets or the passes on April 8th, a month before, so that gives you time to get a hotel and all that good stuff. So you're headed out to Daytona. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a little bit, and we'll get ready for Michelle Kaufman, also from the Miami Herald, to get our Inter-Miami report next. We got some breaking news going on right now. Listen to this. Antonio Brown, the investigation continues. Obviously, the battery case against the truck driver. And now, with a battery investigation going on, Hollywood police told USA Today that Brown now has locked himself inside his house. Brown, a suspect in the battery of driver of a moving truck, has ignored attempts by police to contact him. Brown's trainer, Glenn Holt, already has been arrested for felony and battery charges. By the way, it's the latest bizarre incident involving Brown, who has been the subject of a slow-motion disintegrating over the past year. If he has a health condition for which he needs help, here's hoping he gets it. Last week, Drew Rosenhaus, or whatever, terminated, we all know that. But Drew's his own worst enemy because he likes to sign up the knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do? I am watching practice right now, and we are watching this whole situation with Antonio Brown locking himself in his house. Wow. What does he think he's going to resolve locking himself in the house? That's the part I don't understand, right? But now, here's the thing. He doesn't understand it either. I have to say that too, right? I can't be so naive or ridiculous to think, well, wait a minute. Antonio Brown knows better. He doesn't. He doesn't know better. He thinks that if he shows up, completely naked with a hand towel covering his privates, that whatever artist is in his house drawing, she's going to immediately drop her brush and, go have some great sex with him or something. This is who he is. He thinks he can throw gummy penises at you and kick you out of the house and then call you and say, hey, come back, let's have a threesome. That's who this guy is. He wants to rip your team, then rip your owner, and then say, Patriots, re-sign me. This is the guy that then rips the NFL and then a day later says, I'm sorry, it's just I have a lot of things going on and I'm dying to play this game. There is no awareness whatsoever from Antonio Brown. You can tell his ass is crazy. He needs serious help. And this is another one. This is, I don't know, I'm torn here. I want to try to have sympathy, but I can't because he has left so many people in his wake. You know what I mean? That it's hard to have sympathy for somebody that is constantly hurting others. You know what I mean? That's one that it kind of eats at you a little bit because you want to be forgiving as much as you can, to a certain extent. Sometimes sorry can't fix everything, but some of the things he's done, they go beyond sorry.
He's egotistical, maniacal, self-serving, could give a rat's about anybody but himself.
He's also sick. There's no doubt in my mind that he is sick in the head. There is no way you act like this, even if you're entitled. Even if you're entitled, you act to this extreme. You have to be sick. And like I've told you several times, there's nobody in his life to give him any kind of guidance. They're going through some of the team drills right now. I'm not impressed with the kind of throws they got to make and that kind of stuff. Just in case, let's see. Jalen Hurts is number 1. Justin Herbert is number 10. And Steven Montez is number 12. So just in case if I put the camera down that way and I show you, Love obviously will be in the next practice. Ian from Brooklyn says, AB sounds like he is having a serious breakdown right in front of the world's eyes. Sad, no intervention. Well, there's no intervention because nobody cares. That's what tells you right there.
You know what? But he's done this to himself.
Yeah.
The way he's treated everybody, how he's carried himself in every capacity has been, I don't need you. Leave me alone. It's my world. You know?
Yeah.
So whatever this guy gets, whatever ends up happening to him, he has nobody to blame but go stand in the mirror and look at yourself, pal. It's all on you, man.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
No, I don't think anybody's really going to argue that, because he has been as irresponsible as you can possibly be in this situation. And in a way, he doesn't deserve sympathy because he has had none for others. And that's a problem. Even the people that are trying to help you. You know how many people in the NFL have tried to help him only because he has a talent, not because that's the other thing. Like I told you, if you help somebody, usually it's because you care about them. You truly love them. You know what I mean? But in this case, the NFL has only helped you because they want to use you. That's all. And now they don't really, now that opportunity to use him is no longer there because now the problems outweigh the talent. And AB is super talented. And yet his problems outweigh his talent. Think about that. That's a tough one because that is a law pretty much in the NFL. It's not written or anything, but it's one of those baseball unwritten rules, that type of deal. In football, man, they will tolerate your crap as long as your talent outweighs the baggage. The second the baggage outweighs the talent, you're done. And now it does. You have all of these cases going. You just add an assault case now. You have a couple sexual assault cases going against you. Now you just added another assault charge against you. Who the hell wants to be that? What team wants to bring that guy on and have to answer all of those questions?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
The NFLans.
The Cincinnati Bengals. My Lord. That is definitely one trip.
What did they have? Like 9 guys at one time that had felonies? Was it that many?
Oh, yeah.
That's when they had Pac-Man and the whole crew. I mean, there was like
the receiver that died.
9 of them, man.
The receiver that died.
Yeah.
Felt like he fell off a truck or something. I forgot the guy's name. But yeah. Oh, yeah, they were on a roll drafting like terrible guys, dude. Terrible guys. Yeah. No, I remember that. Definitely. Did you see, by the way, let me switch gears here a little bit. Did you see what's going on with Aerosmith?
What is he up to now?
Well, no, it's not he. It's them and he. And they're headed for the Grammys, right?
Right. You've told us in great detail about Run DMC and them being together. It sounds pretty cool.
Right. So Aerosmith have responded to drummer Joey Kramer's lawsuit because they kept Kramer off the band. And he wants to be a part of that moment in the Grammys where they're, obviously celebrating their lifetime achievement and all that good stuff. And so in a statement to People magazine, the 4 members said, Joey Kramer is our brother. His well-being is of paramount importance to us. However, he has not been emotionally and physically able to perform with the band. By his own admission, for the last 6 months, we have missed him and have encouraged him to rejoin to play many times, but apparently he has not felt ready to do so. Joey has now waited until the last moment to accept our invitation when we unfortunately have no time for necessary rehearsals during Grammy week, the statement continued. We would be doing a disservice to him, to ourselves, and to the fans to have him play without adequate time to prepare and rehearse. Compounding this, he chose to file a lawsuit on the Friday night of the holiday weekend preceding the Grammys with a total disregard for what it is our limited window to prepare to perform for these important events. Given his decision, he is unfortunately unable to perform, but of course, we have invited him to be with us for both the Grammys and our Music Care honor. We are bonded together by much more than the time on stage. Earlier today, it was learned that Kramer was suing the band for having failed an audition, which the 4 other members required in order to see if he was fully healed from the injury he sustained last spring. The band is being celebrated this weekend by the Recording Academy, first as recipients of Music Care's Person of the Year Award, followed by a performance at the Grammys telecast. I am being deprived of the opportunity to be recognized along with my peers for our collective lifetime contributions to the music industry, put in a statement. The fact that I would be asked to audition for my own job demonstrates that I can play at an appropriate level and play better than my temporary fill-in with moving targets of made-up standards is both insulting and upsetting. But I did it, and I did it well. Aerosmith's 50-year history, no other band member has ever been subjected to this scrutiny, let alone be asked to audition for his own job. Well, if you've had an injury or you've been a disaster, I can understand. If they still think you're, whatever, you're inebriated on a consistent basis or you haven't recovered from an injury, they got to know that you're still going to sound good. They have been inviting him to come back for the last 6 months since he's been away for whatever medical situation he's been dealing with, the source revealed. He said, yes, I'll come back and rehearse, and kept not showing up. On the eve of the Grammys and Music Cares, he wants to be back. Sounds to me like a dude that didn't find it important until we got closer to the moment, and then he regretted the decision and then wanted to be a part of it, and then these guys are like, no. And I kind of understand in this case what's going on with that. And I gotta side on the Aerosmith side, not on the Joey Kramer side. If they've been telling you for months to come back so we can rehearse and we can get ready for this thing, and you refuse to, and now you're waiting days before the thing's about to take place, you get what you deserve, man. You do. I find that to be so uncool on Kramer's part.
I hope Antonio Brown gets what he deserves.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I love that. All right. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. As always, that's a 24-hour talk show that you can reach out to us anytime. You can also find us on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. And don't forget, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, this is your chance to register to win a pair of passes for Rockville in Daytona Beach this year. I love that they moved it from Jacksonville to Daytona. Nothing against Jacksonville, but Daytona's just a little cooler. I just think it's actually a better place to hang out. That's all. Just saying. Probably more hotel rooms, I would imagine. Hey, I wonder what's the population for Daytona. I wonder what that is. Let's see. Hey, are there any old linemen that are there at the Senior Bowl that they're proving to be head and shoulders above the rest? Give me another day or two to tell you about some of the linemen here. I could give you some names, but I want to tell you about the ones that are standing out. Another day or two, and I'll share that information with you. Look, Love had a couple up and down segments yesterday. I got to watch him over the next couple of days to see how he does. Same thing with the linemen. Don't like doing it off the first day. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Michelle Kaufman will join us for our Inter Miami report here on the Big O Show.